She was authentic, she was open, she was funny, and she had a love for life. Those words were utilized by a longtime friend of Debbie Jacobs Welsh to describe her. Hello, my name is Cody. I'm a park ranger here at Flight 93 National Memorial with another episode of Their Story Lives Here, the stories of the extraordinary passengers and crew of United Airlines Flight 93. Born on July 20th, 1952, Debbie Welsh was one of 6 children from an Irish Catholic family that grew up in suburban Philadelphia. Even though she was much older than some of her younger sisters and brothers, she was quoted as being a very motherly-like person, but not someone that you wanted to cross. At least that's what her little brother said. For 27 years, her jovial personality allowed her to flourish as a flight attendant for 3 separate airlines. Debbie also had a musical ear for music as well, playing the piano, an instrument that her families and friends could never remember her taking organized lessons with. She also was self-taught with the guitar, and she also sang in her local school choir. For Debbie, she also loved food. Living in New York City, a cultural center not only for the United States but the entire world, allowed Debbie to go to different restaurants and to try different foods. One of her favorite pastimes was almost dissecting what she was eating, what the chef utilized and how they cooked it. She loved to tell her guests exactly what she was trying and what she thought of it. And when she did have guests over at her house, she loved to replicate those foods. Not only did she love music and food, but she was also a very driven person, someone with strong principles, who tried to right any wrongs that she saw. A longtime friend loved to tell the story of how they would go to a local grocery store, and that one time, while going there, she noticed a dog that was tied up outside. While he went inside, she stayed outside with the dog, keeping it company, waiting that eventually when the owner came out, she would voice her displeasure of how they chose to keep their dog outside. For Debbie, that love of animals stemmed as far as actually later in life owning a Dalmatian that she loved dearly, named Dylan. When she could, even though it was against policy, she would take food that was not utilized for passengers. And when she would get home, she would actually hand out these meals to the homeless, ensuring that they had a nice hot meal. On a few other occasions, when she would notice the homeless population in her neighborhood, she would ask her husband for any sort of clothing that he had that he wasn't utilizing to hand out to the homeless, including unused gloves, jackets, and sweaters. On September 11, 2001, Debbie was one of 5 flight attendants aboard United 93. She was at the position of purser, which means she's responsible for taking care of first class. And first class that day would be the 4 hijackers. We know now that 13 separate passengers and crew made phone calls that day. Debbie was not among them. One longtime friend said that all these years later, he still misses Debbie, that he feels that a light disappeared from the world when she was taken. But he can't help, when thinking about her, smile.